Alright, hello everyone, we're back, and we have another Tour 8 guide for you guys here. Here you're seeing Gokasho Bay Hole 1 again, and I believe I did this with quarterback already. We're going to do it a little bit differently with an apocalypse in terms of rings, but I'm probably going to go for a very similar shot. It is, very favorable to, as my opponent's doing here, go this direction. I'm going to back off the top spin so you don't see me out too much farther. So, I'm only going to use about 4 top spin here for you guys, just so I'm not too far out there. And we're just going to kind of try to concentrate on, I do a curl shot when I go for this target over here. In terms of, perfect ball, I mentioned earlier, you're going to have some margin for error that you don't need to hit, the most perfect ball. Especially if you're not using extra mile. So giving that 1 or 2 extra rings to great ball, you can feel confident when you do that over power shot. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I like to go with an accurate club like quarterback or rock. And like I said, I do have a tutorial doing that. So right now I'm doing it with Apocalypse, just kind of as a another perspective. I'm assuming that you might not want to use Apocalypse at an early state. Say it's a 2 or a 3. You're gonna have far lower accuracy. So going at it with that rock or quarterback, and even laying up to the left, how I've already demonstrated that on this hole. But I just wanted to kind of just take another fresh perspective on this one as well, just so you guys have quite a few different scenarios that you can play out. In terms of this shot, it is kind of a little frustrating the way that it seems to be working its way out. I'm going to try to hit it like this because it's the only way that I feel like I can get it close to the hole, and we're going to go right around 4 rings, a little bit less. You do have to be very careful with your perfect ball. It looks like I did over adjust there. My Goliath is 2 per ring, but towards min club it's probably 2.5, so that's where I was going off of my adjustment. That second shot does play a bit uphill, especially when you get in there tight. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing more than anything for me, is I was getting in there a little bit too tight. With that being in mind, being on the short end of the club, we're just going to need to do just a little bit more of an underplay. So I probably went about 3/4 of a ring too much there. That really only comes into play if you're, get up close to the green, because from back more towards like a sniper range, it's not quite as much uphill. But here you can see we're getting this Gokasho Bay par 3, and this is a very good hole to have Guardian for, just so you have all your bases covered. My opponent here is going to be okay because of the wind that we drew. So if he wants to go with a sniper full backspin, technically he's going to be able to stop it. But the reason that you don't use sniper is because this is a very conditional wind. And what if it was, say the wind was at 3 o'clock, then my opponent would definitely hit it deep. There would be no stopping the ball on like a 3 o'clock wind with this club. You would have to club down to Goliath. It would kind of force your hand. But as you can see, in fact, you know, very nicely done too inside the yard. So we're really going to have to work on this shootout. It's not always going to happen like this, but you know, especially on smaller winds, you have to expect to hit a very close shot in order to you know, maybe pull this off. So you're gonna see me try to do more of a stop shot here. I do like to play when I do this, you know, it does play very much downhill, so you're gonna see me try to use about 5 rings here for my adjustment, which is 1 per ring, which is definitely an over adjustment here. So you know, I just want, oh my goodness, my great balls are coming out like crazy right now. So I'm assuming, and you can see just a tiny bit short, almost needed 6 rings there. And you know, just the way that it goes sometimes, you can see how you know, that wind, you know, we can still get it in there tight with Guardian. It just takes you know, just a little bit of and you know, more than anything as to why I didn't you know, go enough, probably had less to do with the rings and more to do with it condensing my ball guide. So keep in mind that that's a very downhill shot, and you do need to add rings. You know, like I said, you know, I naturally do kind of 1 per ring, even though my adjustment is 1.2 per ring. So, and more than anything, you're just kind of seeing the compression of the, you know, shot arrow making me come up 1.5 yards short. So, you know, going an extra 1.5 rings would have been spot on there. So keep that in mind. You know, 6.5 rings for a 5.3 is virtually kind of spot on, which, you know, what is that, 0.9? So that tells you how much it is playing downwind. That's about 25% downwind when you pull towards max club like that. So quite a bit of extra wind that you have to factor in on that hole. But, you know, with some practice, and, you know, more times than not, we're going to beat Sniper on that hole, because Sniper's not going to be able to stop it on every wind. So, you know, you just take your few losses, and you know, plus, not to mention, you know, the more that you get into practice, you know, some of these shootouts, I haven't seen these wins in months. So just to be able to even, you know, hone in and get, you know, consistent inside 2 yards, it's good. But you know, with some practice and just a little bit more repetition, you know, I'm going to be absolutely deadly on these if I learn from my mistakes. So that's what I recommend for you guys, is just kind of, you know, take every shot, and if you make a mistake, figure out what you did wrong, figure out how wrong you were, and then correct it next time. So good luck there, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.